Okay, in this video, we'll be looking at how to add a relationship to a client ID. So I have searched for this client, Sean Smith, and I intend to add a relationship to it. So if I move over to this left-hand side where we have all these options, and I'm going to click on relationships. And this will bring me up to the relationship view for this client. Now, this is a new client, so there won't be any relationships to add just yet, but I will show you how to add fresh relationships. So just to note, there's two options here. There's people and there's organizations. So you can choose to add a relationship for a person between Sean Smith and another person, whether that be professional or a family member. But you can also tie a Sean Smith with a relationship to an organization such as a GP surgery. And you can choose by flicking between two how you do that. So I'm just going to show it for people for this example, but I will first show you how to tie it into a family member. So if I just move over to this right hand side, you'll see there's a few options here, and just click on add to add a fresh relationship, and you're presented with these options here. So I'm going to click on familial, or leave it clicked on familial, in order to add a family relationship, and click on proceed. And at this point, it's asking you who you want to attach Sean Smith to. So if I knew we had, for example, a sister called Sarah Smith, for example, you would search for the person on Eclipse and find their ID and click on that to choose the person. And then the next stage down, it asks you, what is Sarah Smith's relationship to Sean Smith? And you can choose here out of these options. Now, because Sarah Smith has been nominated as female in their identity section, it's presenting here with female options. So you just choose the most relevant one here. So I'm going to choose sister for Sarah Smith, and then it has a further options here if you need to specify any more. For when did it start, it will pick the date that is for the most youngest person, i.e. when they were born. It will show that as the start of their relationship date, as you would expect. And then you're brought to this section down here at the bottom where you can nominate further bits of information for both of the client and also the person you want to build the relationship with. So in this example, obviously we're doing this for Sean Smith, but we might say Sarah Smith is the next of kin. So in order to do that, we just tick under Sarah Smith like so. And you can also tick just to show that they are next to kin of each other if you wanted to. And you would just tick to show the most relevant pieces of information, i.e. Sarah might be the financial representative, the emergency contact, whatever is relevant, you can go down this list and tick it for either or. And then once you're finished, you press save. And then this entry will be saved onto the client ID. Just give it a moment. Okay. So it has shown here that Sarah Smith has been added as a sister. Now, what it's also done is it's picked up another client ID, in this case, Edna Bubble, who has been linked to Sarah Smith as the great aunt. And it has therefore pulled through any of the relationships that are relevant because you've nominated them as brother and sister, is pulled through any other relevant information and relationships for other IDs that are also on Eclipse. So, you might only need to pull through one family member to pull through the whole lot. So that is how you add a family relationship. So in order to add a professional relationship, for example, if you've been allocated this case and you want to be the allocated worker, this is how you would add yourself to that. So again, if you just click on add in the right hand side, now in this option, we're going to choose professional and then proceed. And then you want to put yourself here. So I'm just going to put my name. Here we go. I'm going to put for me, I'm going to put my relationship. And then you've got a whole list of professional titles here that you can choose from. I'm going to put social worker. Probably covers the most amount of people for this demonstration. And then when did it start? So this will be the date that obviously the case was allocated to you. So for example, it might have been earlier this week, the 27th of December, I was allocated this case. And then you've got these options here that you can choose from, whichever's the most relevant, but the one that you do need to tick is this top one, allocated worker. And then any of these others may be relevant depending on the nature of the case, but allocated worker is the most important one. And then if you press save, it's suggesting, nope, that's fine. Sarah Smith is not going to be my client, just Sean Smith. And then once that's finished, you'll notice here on Sean Smith's quick view access at the top that under the allocated section, it is now allocated to me as the social worker. And essentially, that is how you build relationships. In order to end a relationship, for example, if you're no longer the allocated worker and you need to end that relationship, you would come onto this relationships tab on the left-hand side. You'd find where you're listed as the allocated worker or whatever relationship you have with the person. And then under actions, if you select to end the relationship and provide the end date and the end reason, you just need to choose relationship ended and then select yes. And then what you'll see is that there is now also an end date specified here too. So that is how you would end the relationship between you and a client ID.